And this recording will be sent out to you so you can review, you can work through this process, this energetic scanning technique that you're going to learn today, that you can apply to yourself. And our plan today, right? There is an outline, there is a flow that we're going to go through. Is first, so you know what to prepare. We are going to dive into exploration of your soul potential and how to receive your current soul potential assessment. And why would you want to do that, right? Well, so you could expand your capacity energetically where everything starts, right? So you can expand your capacity to communicate to your higher self, to move forward with your dreams, with your visions. Maybe you are calling in true aligned love. Maybe you are really focused on rebuilding your health. We all have different visions, different dreams. And when I was reading the submissions for this event, we have, so many submissions came through, and everybody was sharing what would they do if they expanded their soul capacity 50%, 20%, 30%. And everybody named very beautiful visions and dreams, right? So I am here to be of service and support to you and your dreams and then your visions. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to first dive into understanding of your soul potential, what that is, how do we develop it, right? Then we're going to go into fourth dimension together. We're going to go outside of this physical dimension where all the healing takes place in the fourth dimension, right? And there we are going to receive healing, spiritual healing. And I'm going to cover what I mean by spiritual healing because we can have many different understandings, right? And I'll share with you how I see spiritual healing. And then we're going to recalibrate our vibration to the highest capacity that you can hold at this moment, right? And then I'm going to give practical suggestions of how to integrate it and what we're going to do on the session 2, which is on Friday. So it's a 2-part experience. If you're able and willing to come back on Friday, you're going to receive a deeper energetic recalibration that will be focused on your soul gifts, right? On your deeper, I call them mystical gifts, but those spiritual gifts that you're here to express and to offer to the world. So, a warm welcome, Satya. Good to see you. Welcome, darling. And the new moon, this one is particular, is in Cancer. So, we are approaching entire month in Cancer, which will be July. The topic is healing, 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 right? In July, we're here to revisit all the parts of ourselves that needs tending. So Cancer is healing, and it's also an archetype of a healer. So don't be surprised if you will be feeling this energy of sharing your healing gifts with the world or studying healing in any capacity, because it's an archetype of a healer. Cancer is also heart, right? So I'm surrounded by Cancerians. I have a lot of friends who have Cancer as their sun sign. So it's the heart energy. So this new moon is asking us, what new choices are we willing to make guided by our heart? And it's all heart energy, right? And it's all about emotions. So if you are, here to really understand how your emotional body holds a connection to your spiritual gifts, right? So emotional body is directly connected to your soul potential. And this is why a lot of times we will be asked to revisit the themes that we dedicated a lot of healing or a lot of awareness, a lot of understanding. And then you may be asking yourself, why I am back revisiting this? Because you are ready to expand your potential. And that means your emotional capacity gets to expand, your ability to feel the bigger range of feelings, right? So we will weave more and more and more of this, but I just wanted to address why new moon in Cancer has these vibrations, and every month we have a different new moon. And the new moon is a time to activate, right? It's a new beginning. It's a new opportunity to start fresh. So this is the energy of today. Oh, you see, the Ivana says, I'm a Cancer sign, sun sign, and Leo rising. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, dear friends, just a few words about me and my background. I feel it's very supportive to share our story with each other because maybe some parts of my story can bring new understandings to your story. So, I was born with a highly activated energetic system, and only now I understand that. It took me literally 20 years to arrive to this understanding. And I was born with a body that had highly sensitive nerves, right? So which brought very unique set of abilities and abilities, I would say, that I thought everybody had when I was a kid, right? So such things as seeing things that others people did not see, hearing things that other people did not hear, right? Being able to simply know things, tapping into my inner world and receiving information. And as a kid, I did not know how to explain any of that. I just made an assumption that everybody was operating the same way. And only later I have realized, oh my goodness, that's not how it works. And only later I've learned that there was a term for a group of souls who came in my generation and 50 years before and 30 years after, and the term was indigo children, right? Another term for it, star seeds or light workers, activated souls who came in with activated nervous system. And what tends to happen, these souls choose a very dense family of origin, right, to start their journey of spiritual awakening at early age. So I incarnated into a family that had a lot of pain, generational pain, a lot of addiction, right? Both of my parents were very traumatized people who were not prepared to have children. So, the way that they coped with the intensity of life, I was born in Soviet Union during the collapse of the country. So both of my parents were drinking and drinking heavily to the point where they were oblivious that they had kids. And that to be around domestic violence, to be around binge drinking was very, very hard. So as a sensitive kid, the way that I dealt with that, I learned to shut down my emotions. And I learned to adapt, and I learned to become hyper alert, hyper vigilant, because I didn't know where the threat would come from, right? So, and also as a kid, I was drawn to my inner world. I would spend a lot of time in my inner world because it was way more interesting than the outer world, right? So only now I can explain that process that guided me to spend a lot of times on the inner planes. And what I found there was incredible magic. I would meet these beings who would talk to me and comfort me, right? And help me get through those very, very challenging chapters of childhood. And I felt this presence that was guiding me and was revealing what would happen in my future, right? Like, this is not how your life is going to be. There is a new future that awaits for you. And, now if I tell you the story, I imagine it was my future self that was making a contact across time and space to my kid self. and sending light and support to guide that little child through the chapters of her journey. So really, really powerful stuff, you know. And about 10 years ago, I was introduced to the world of energy, right? So 20 years ago, I started my quest, my like really strong quest for spirituality and soul purpose. But 10 years ago, I was introduced to energy and the whole energetics. It felt so familiar. And 10 years ago, I was introduced to this process that's called connecting to your non-physical self and making a contact to that non-physical self and start working in a non-physical space. And it was a huge illuminating part of my journey because I realized if I only use my physical self to create, you know, the vision that is so important to create or to manifest things or to become financially free, right? If I only ask my physical self to do all of those things and accomplish all of those things, I will always reach limitation, right? Because physical self has limitations. But once I've discovered the non-physical self that is limitless in nature, that is wise, that holds all of our incarnations, right? That holds all our potentials. And it was such a breakthrough moment to realize I can make a contact with that non-physical self and start receiving the guidance and support from that part of me. Now it's a different story, right? When you make that switch from, okay, it's a team, it's a co-creation here. Here's my limitless self that is the non-physical, and here's me. And we are moving forward together as a team. Now let's talk a little bit about soul potential. So this is really incredible to tap into the ancient wisdom. You know, right now, currently, I am leading a mystery school. And the mystery school is a lineage of ancient wisdom teachings that have found their way to us right now. And it's all soul science. It's all about development of the soul. So the ancient mystery teachings say that we come to the physical world with the seed of a soul, right? It's not fully activated soul essence. Every lifetime we progress the soul. Every lifetime we grow the soul. So every lifetime we increase our soul potential in a way, right? So if we don't intentionally grow our soul, it's not going to grow on its own. It remains the seed. And this is why you're here, right? Because you probably discovered that on your own. If you don't tend to your soul, it's not going to grow, right? It's actually going to begin to shrivel and begin to feel unattended or undernourished. When we say we don't feel nourished, it's because our soul is not receiving the food that it needs to receive to grow. So, what are the food for the soul, my darlings? Spiritual, energetic, right? Cosmic, anything that feeds your soul. Yes, beauty, yes, nature, yes, connection with the loved one from the heart. But it's really to remember that we are here to grow the soul. And we're here, and you know, the question of growing the soul becomes really kind of like front and center in the midlife, right? Because even if you start your journey awakening in your mid-20s, you can get distracted in your 30s by pursuing all other things, and nothing wrong with it. But something happens in midlife, you know, 40s, 50s, 60s, where the growth of your soul becomes the thing, right? And you are naturally drawn to all these modalities and ways that support your soul potential. I have some notes. 1 second. So we develop the soul. Just want to make sure I'm on track because I'm aiming to finish this process in 1 hour. So yeah, Patty says, very interesting, right? It's fascinating. It's so interesting to me. So darlings, that's that's how I came to this whole topic of energy recalibration, energy tuning, right? Using these different cosmic portals like full moon and new moon to really work with the energy of the cosmos to launch our intentions, to choose a new timeline. And this is where I wanted to pause because 10 years ago, when I found energy work, I also was introduced to this beautiful teaching of different timelines. And a timeline, even if we all heard about that, it's good to review. A timeline is sort of like a life track, right? So we have many, many different paths that we can attune to, right? And at any point, you as a sovereign co-creator of your life can attune to your highest timeline. And that's uniquely to you. Maybe your highest timeline is a more peaceful timeline, right? Maybe your version of living at your zenith, living at your greatness, is to create a very peaceful, nourishing, and quiet life where you feel, absolutely serene and you feel deep, lasting peace inside. You do the work that you love, right? You feel deep fulfillment. All of your relationships are at peace. And that's your version of your highest timeline. The highest doesn't mean, everybody needs to be on the front lines and reaching millions of people. Every single one of us has a unique highest timeline. But your highest timeline is the one that gives you peace, is the one that when you connect to it, you feel at home. And that's where I would like to guide us during our recalibration and activation, right? So we begin to let go of the things that drain us, that distract us, that not our life tracks, right? And this is a year for it. So many of us are going through massive life changes, massive transformations. And if our physical self fights to hold on to the old, it's not going to be easy. But if we begin to ask our non-physical self to guide us more and more and more and more, and to know that you are never separated. And I love that the science is giving us all the proof of this metaphysical teaching that we're receiving right now together, right? And I love that the science tells us, the quantum science tells us that everything physical has a non-physical part. Everything physical has a non-physical part, including ourselves. So every single person on the planet has a non-physical guiding wise entity that guides us through our journey and the humanity itself. So we are receiving so much support from a non-physical dimension if we only open to it and learn to communicate to it consistently. So what does it take to communicate to our non-physical selves? We get to go to a different dimension, right? Because if I invite you to think about fourth dimension as a sort of like a meeting place, right? Your non-physical higher self is in fifth dimension, fifth and higher. So the fourth dimension is the bridge, and it's a sort of like a meeting ground. And the way we travel there is by moving from the mind into the heart. So if you are right now, if you're listening to this on replay, especially if you are trying to cook dinner and watching this, or if you are checking Instagram and watching this, you're not going to receive anything from this session. Your full presence is a requirement. And if you're fully present here with me, great. Then you understand the power of your presence. You can't be in many different places at once. So if you're here, I invite you to really bring yourself here. Your breakthrough will arrive when you're fully present. Presence means you're open for presence from the universe. The biggest challenge of today's world is we have a war on our attention. We're pulled and distracted in many different places. You know that FOMO, fear of missing out, that somewhere else something more exciting happening. But you have made this journey to be here. So I invite you to bring your awareness, start bringing it deeper and deeper and deeper into this moment right now, where we are discussing a very powerful topic of how to meet your non-physical self and start hearing, 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 right? Yeah, hearing the messages from your soul. So, darlings, when we want to receive the current level of our soul capacity, we need to become still to hear it. And I feel like one of the big reasons I wanted to host this experience is that to show you that you can use this tool without me, right? You know, really about this self-empowerment. We come together for inspiration, for upliftment, but then ultimately you take the tool, you begin to practice it. You practice it and you practice. So the very first step is to quiet the mind and start making that journey from the head into the heart. And in the fourth dimension, right? In the fourth dimension, darlings, we use different ways to navigate that dimension. We use our incredible skill, natural skill of visualization to see on inner planes. And what's so important is to trust what you see. If you don't see or don't feel right away, be very patient with yourself. You know, be patient with yourself. Maybe you're the one who hears things fast or feels things, right? So I'm building up kind of a setting for us, so we're ready and prepared to meet and to see our current soul potential assessment. And ask for truth from your non-physical self. Not so you could feel like, I am so great. I am at 95%. Oh my gosh, I am at 15%. But it's more like, oh, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I wonder what gets in the way. So then we're going to ask, what is the key pattern? What is the key energy that gets in the way? And then we're going to clear it together. So this really, really powerful energetic work, everything begins to clear on energetics first. And then you see the ripple of the energy. It's almost like, where you go and you throw a pebble in the lake or in the pond, and you start seeing those ripples. The energetic work is us throwing new pebbles in the pond to receive the new reflections into our physical life, the new experiences, the new opportunities for growth. Okay, is there anything else? Stealing the mind, entering the fourth dimension. We're using our imagination. Yes, somebody wrote it in a comment. We're using a soul capacity. It's a soul sense imagination. It's like this inner eye that is peeking into the ethers. And then when we enter the group healing experience, I'm going to ask the spirit guides that I work with and the healing masters who work with our planet to support everybody's intentions. And, we're going to invoke a whole collective of the masters to support every person who wrote their intentions. Because, this is what I'm discovering, darlings, of so much light is coming through on the planet. And there's so much potential. There's so much, it feels like there is so much ripeness, so much ripeness. And there's so much possibilities. And a lot of us feel like we get so close to that potential, and something gets in the way that we can't reach it or we can't actualize it, right? And this is where energetics come. This is where you go into your inner world and you ask your non-physical self, your wise self, what is that energetic piece that I trip over again and again and again? And you receive information from your wise self, not from me, right? Which is like such an incredible and a sovereign way to transform yourself. Now, couple of words about healing, right? Because, the healing, a lot of times here on the West, we think healing as physical healing, right? And spiritual healing is deeply understood in South America, where I love to go, places like Peru, places like Brazil, where people don't go to the doctor first before they go to a medicine man or a medicine woman, and they seek to understand what caused this disease or what caused this challenge, what caused this repeating pattern, right? So I've been fascinated by the topic of true soul healing because I did not want to live as a fraction of my potential. The wounds of the childhood, if they don't get addressed, they're gonna haunt you until you take this courageous turning back to where you came from, right? I tried to simply shut down my feelings, and what it brought me to becoming an addict, like full functioning addict, creating a bunch of highly dysfunctional relationships, um, almost killing myself many, many times, not through intentional, but just putting myself in a very reckless life situations where I could have been easily killed. And this is a behavior of soul in suffering. This is a behavior of not liberated soul. So, once I found my healing, I start become so fascinated with what truly heals the soul, what makes that transformation possible and sustainable. And I want to share with you three definitions of healing that I found that feels so grounding. So the first definition of healing is a lifelong journey to wholeness. Healing is a lifelong journey to wholeness. So every time we come together to practice energy work, to receive spiritual healing, we expand our experience of wholeness, of our innate wholeness that we forgot, that we lost, right? So it's a lifelong journey to wholeness. Second, healing is remembering that we are all interconnected. So if we are truly all interconnected, what you do for your own healing, you do it for entire world, for entire humanity, for the soul of this planet. And it's not just a beautiful idea, it's a reality, right? It's a true reality that you can only experience through your heart to see the ripple of your healing. The third is healing is softening what got hardened and opening what got closed. Right? So healing is this ongoing journey to becoming softer, to becoming more trusting of yourself, of life, of others, right? Healing is, where you realize, oh my gosh, that old belief that I had that everybody is here to get me, everybody is here to deceive me, everybody wants something from us, right? You one day you wake up and you don't have that attitude anymore because you soften into the truth of the loving essence of the universe. And that could be a very gradual process. It could take 10 years or 5 years, but who counts? When you wake up one morning and you don't feel the need to be on guard from others, that's a journey well worth taking. So the same thing, healing is opening what was closed. The other day I was talking to Divine Mother, and I was, I got flooded by the emotion of profound gratitude that the heart, my heart, that at one point I thought was just, I was doubting what could heal this heart. Like, will I ever have a healed heart? And one day I was by my devotional altar right there, and I had this incredible flooding of emotion, realizing that my heart was whole and healed again and open. So this is the gifts of healing, of a true spiritual healing brings fruits like this. And for that, we gathered together and to practice and to receive. And, if you feel called to share your healing gifts with the world, this is the time for it, because entire humanity is in need of healing and restoring itself to its true wholeness. So now let's go on a journey, darlings. This is a context. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful for you, that brought some new insights and new understandings. Even if none of it felt new, but maybe you've heard it in a new way, right? And I always appreciate when I hear something in a fresh way, and it helps me feel like, yeah, totally, I've been going through this too, right? I have a crow. Crow above over there is crowing. Right? Yeah, beautiful, Amanda. All right, darlings. So I also want you to know that once we're going into the fourth dimension, I go into a channeled state. So I don't plan what will happen. Like, I have a strong intention, deep heart intention. Then we ask the entire field, the energy field, to guide us. So all you need is just open heart and open soul. All right, darlings, I'm going to turn off my camera so my video is not distracting, because we're going to go on the inner planes. Oh, yes, Larissa is also from Russia. Yes. So welcome, Larissa. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, let's heal our hearts. Let's ask our hearts to come into a deeper wholeness today together. So I'm going to turn off my camera so can receive. And I simply invite you to find the body posture where you can be relaxed. So if you have a crossed legs. Would you please uncross your legs so the energy can move freely? And close your eyes and come into a heartfelt intention. Say yes. Say yes to receiving healing, receiving clarity, receiving deeper trust in who you are and in your path. And this is your inner yes, right? So we're starting this journey into the fourth dimension by taking a deep breath into your nose and exhale through the mouth. Couple more breaths like this. And before we start this journey, I ask you to scan your energy. Imagine that with your eyes closed, you can trace your aura, the size of it. Often it's kind of like an egg-shaped energy bubble that we have. Simply scan of how it feels to you right now. What is its size? Is it an arm length? Just notice. You're not here to fix it or change it. Simply notice what your aura feels like to you now before we start. And if you perceive on inner plane, see if you can see any colors. Now, set an intention to let go of anything that happened today. Anything good, anything that troubled you, anything that was on your mind. Just release it so you could receive. Ask your body to release any tension that may be holding. Now, with your imagination, go to a place of beauty and peace. This could be a place in your real life where you love to go, maybe your favorite beach or a lake or a park or your own garden. Or this would be a place in your imagination that you can build. You can create the most beautiful garden with a fountain and blooming flowers. Maybe it's your rose garden. So this is the place where you are going to connect to your non-physical self, your spirit, your soul. Invite this part of who you are, eternal part of who you are, to come forth and reveal itself to you. And it can take any shape. It can look like an energy being. It can look like exactly you, but your most peaceful, most balanced, most fully enlightened, realized self. It can simply look like a beam of light appearing in front of you. And I invite you to communicate to this part of you like you would talk to any human being. A simple conversation. This is your higher self. And ask your higher self to reveal to you the number of your current soul potential that you express. Simply observe what shows up. This is what your physical self expresses now. Now, simply remember it. You can write it down later. And ask your higher self to activate within your body the energy pattern, the emotion, a mental block that is most important for you to become aware right now. Ask your higher self, what holds me back the most? And hear and listen. And whatever you received, focus on this pattern and acknowledge it. Tell it, I see you and I acknowledge you. I'm not here to fight you or to judge you or to condemn you. I'm here to become aware of you because you are here because on some level of my awareness, I think I need you. So becoming aware of this pattern of fear or mental block, awareness is the very first step to healing. If you're not aware, how can you transform it? Now imagine that your higher self takes form as this golden figure. You can imagine a golden, luminous being made of divine love, truth, and wisdom. And I invite you to bring this pattern to the light. And ask your higher self to assist you to go beyond this pattern. So next time when it comes up, you become aware and you choose to move forward, knowing that this pattern is a thing of the past. So by bringing it to the light, I invite you to take the next step with me. We're going to raise your energetic capacity together. I invite you to see a dial, visualize kind of like a meter or a dial, and find on that meter or on that dial the number that you have received. So whether it is a 20%, 40%, 60%, find that number. And visualize your hand together with your higher self hand as a team, turning up that dial for as much as it feels aligned for you. You want to turn it up 20%? 20% more courage, more vision, more clarity, more joy, more vitality. You want to go 50%? 30%? Choose that upgrade. And on this new moon where we have such support of the cosmos, say yes to your full soul potential. And repeat after me. If it feels good, you can say it out loud or in your heart. From this moment, I choose my highest timeline. I choose an expression of my true soul potential. I honor my past. I honor my history, and I choose to go beyond it. I choose to co-create with my non-physical self, with this loving divine being who has a limitless capacity, limitless resources. And today I'm going to take off the pressure and the burdens from my physical self, thinking that it needs to get there by itself. From this moment, I choose to remember and embody the soul knowing that my higher self and I are a team. We're a team. We're healing, creating, enjoying, moving, expanding together. I invite you to turn up that dial on your capacity to feel joy that is unconditional, that does not depend on anything. Joy is our natural state. We're born joyful. Look at the children. So coming back to that capacity to feel joy that comes from a healed heart. So take another deep breath. Connect to your heart. Focus on your non-physical self. Focus on the love and the warmth of this energy, this unconditional love. Pure being. And ask your non-physical self to show you your soul potential, to show you your new numbers, what you are here vibrating at now. Allow yourself to see into your soul. Now, I want you to think about that vision, that dream, that intention, that deep, deep yearning of your heart. How do you see the manifestation of that dream or vision or any area of your life that you're currently focused on upgrading? How do you see it differently from your expanded potential? How do you see that vision, that area of your life, knowing that you don't have to do it with your physical self alone? That you're going to approach this area, this dream, this vision, this idea that you've had as a team with your higher self. And watching the hesitation or the fear of the doubt or concern fall away like the shackles that they are when you come into this deep alignment. So I invite you to come back to your heart, bring all your awareness into your heart. Take another deep breath. And take a look at your aura right now. Take a look at your energy field and notice if you see any changes in how you feel, the size of your aura, or the shape or the texture. Or if you see any images that come to you, I see white doves everywhere, especially in my heart. It's a symbol of nourished heart. And while you're observing the changes, while we're here collectively, we're going to invite the support of galactic beings, cosmic mentors, teachers of humanity who are in non-physical dimensions, who connect to us telepathically through the energies of the heart. We ask their support, that they would assist us in our intentions, whatever we're releasing on this new moon, releasing the patterns and the fears and the stories that hold us back. We ask for us to be, so we are all lifted energetically to new heights. And we can feel the energy, we can feel and we know that it's real. The beauty, the power, and the wisdom that is all around us. And everybody who's going to watch this replay, we ask for them too, because their dreams matter too. And everybody who's here alive, your dreams are precious. Your hearts are precious. And one day, you will have an opportunity to hold space for others and to bring others together and to share your story, to share your story of healing. That day is coming. Or that day is already here for so many of us. So take a moment to give yourself acknowledgement for showing up and receiving and remembering and connecting on this new moon in Cancer, the new moon of the heart, healing and transformation. And whenever you're ready, come back, open your eyes, take your time, no rush at all. I'm going to open up my camera. No rush at all, be as gentle as you want. And if you're in the space to type, it would be so amazing to hear what you experienced, what numbers you have seen. How was that journey? What patterns have you alchemized? Because you have done it not only for yourself, but for the human collective. Tonight, after our session, I am going to go to the ocean with my beloved to make offerings. Shana says, thank you, Angel. Ivana says, I feel so emotional. What a beautiful journey. Thank you. My numbers. Wow. -7 to 85. That is such a beautiful recalibration, darling. That's a beautiful recalibration. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Shana, 50 to 80 plus. Yes. Yes, yes. Please share your numbers. Let's celebrate together how you can see on the inner planes, and it's a natural experience. I really wanted all of us to see how natural this is, right? We're energetic beings. And if you didn't see things clearly, don't despair. Don't think anything wrong. It just means it's a muscle that you need to activate, right? So showing up and learning energy work and energy tools and learning to be more still and more patient. I come from very, very active mind. I had a brain injury at 24 years old that created a huge uh, disorder in my left brain and right brain. So my mind was overactive and anxious. So I couldn't meditate for many years. Meditation was like, what? Meditation? I can't. That was my story, broken brain. And I've learned to simply be patient and to do these guided inner journeys. And each one would brought me more and more and more and more, deeper and deeper and deeper. And then one day I started seeing and feeling the same level of clarity as I did when I was a child before. You're so welcome. Roxy says, thank you for this space. 38 to 80, bigger open energy field. You see, this is how you measure your transformative work. I was looking for a technique that could give us measurement, real measurement. So we have these beautiful mystical experiences, but then we return and we can measure it, right? It's really beautiful. Larissa says, I had 5 and now 16. So you have raised it, Larissa. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you for showing up for yourself. So, dear friends, just a few announcements. Friday will be part 2. I wanted to give tomorrow for integration. Please drink a lot of water. We did high frequency energy work. So flood your body with water with a little bit of salt. Sea salt will mineralize you. And ground on a bare ground if you have access to the grass or if you can walk barefoot. And rest, journal what came up, what you receive. The one thing that we need to be aware of our logical mind that can become very noisy after mystical experiences. So the sooner you capture on paper how you felt, what you saw, what touched you, right? The more you integrate your soul embodiment, because if you don't, the mind will, this logical mind, don't make logic bad, but the part of the skeptic that we all have and be like, you just so so you write everything down and you grow in your capacity to hear your soul deeper and deeper. I have so many journals everywhere. I still have my psychic readings that I got 20 years ago. Was the first medium with the first psychic. I keep them because they're so precious, you're receiving information. So on Friday, we're going to go into your spiritual gifts and different clairvoyant gifts, clairaudience, clairvoyance, telepathy. And I consider them natural gifts. We have this word psychic, right? Because we were taught to separate spiritual from the physical. And we entered spiritual renaissance where many of us becoming more energetically sensitive and attuned, and we yearn for a reclamation of our natural gifts. And to remember that we're all psychics, that we all can heal ourselves and create healing energy. So if it works for you to come on Friday, please come, and you will receive a replay of this call in 2 hours from now. And thank you from all my heart. It was a pure joy for me to be here with you. I hope to see you on Friday, darlings. And if you have questions between the sessions, feel free to email me or send me a message on Instagram. And I am thrilled to be with you on Friday. Enjoy this new moon. Imagine that your new life, your new timeline began today. Believe it with your full heart and you make it so. Every single day is a new beginning, and especially on the new moon. I will see you Friday.